deal with airplane peanuts.
From Are You Garbage closing in on 20,000 subscribers, to Tim Dillon's thriving fake business, and of course, Matt and Shane's prestigious award.
You've created one of the biggest communities on Patreon with the people who love what you do. That's huge. Represents the creative mind. That's us thinking about different slurs.
Hold on, yo.
Websites like Patreon have completely revolutionized the way comedians make money.
I have been a big fan of History Hyenas. It was a great podcast. Your hiatus definitely helped prepare or propel our career. With
History hiatus.
Shout out to a lot of Patreon funds cleared up when you guys went out of town.
Was the channel dead for a while, or was it always there?
It was just dead. I mean, it was like we weren't posting anything.
It was there.
Yeah.
But were people still going to it?
Oh, yeah. Our Patreon was still active for 3 years.
And you got money.
Money was coming in.
So is it back up?
It went right back to where it was. Shout out to all the fans who came right back.
But last week it was revealed completely by mistake that when it comes to Patreon, there's a whole new king in town after Joe Budden accidentally posted a screenshot of his monthly revenue totaling over $902,000.
You could see through the blurred out thing, and apparently this is what the blurred out thing looks like. Apparently Joe's Patreon is making $900,000.
Obviously, it's insanely impressive to be making almost $1 million a month strictly off bonus podcasts on Patreon. But for most comedians, even making 1% of that monthly sum would be enough to change everything. Subscription sites like Patreon and even PunchUp have already played a major part in freeing modern comedians from the old system of industry gatekeepers. In the age of podcasts and pay-per-view, comics have suddenly become empowered financially to self-fund their own projects instead of desperately trying to sell their ideas to suits in Hollywood. That would not only take a huge percentage, but would also eventually erode and destroy the original funny idea in the first place. The emergence of online platforms like YouTube and TikTok was the first major shift towards comedy independence, but soon enough, the censorship started happening here too, with YouTube demonetizing comedians for jokes left and right, and even completely deplatforming a few shows.
Our Roseanne episode got taken down and we got strikes on YouTube and we couldn't post for a week. Those were the rules.
There are other places, we might start uploading the show to Twitter. We are experimenting with all kinds of things.
You don't get to communicate with YouTube really about it, right? This ruling comes from people you can't communicate with or access, and then that's how they do it.
He's like, well, we could just cut the joke out, and I'm like, I'm not just taking a 3-minute chunk out of my special.
The problem is the algorithms being used by these giant tech companies can't calculate sarcasm or intent of what's being said based off a transcript, which is obviously really bad for jokes, and oftentimes comedians end up being punished at a way higher rate when it comes to online censorship. The truth is, you just can't trust YouTube when it comes to the comedy world.
We're talking to you about a week after the Legion of Skanks YouTube channel was deleted from YouTube. Just wondering, has YouTube provided any real official reasoning for the ban yet?
No, they haven't. They took the channel down without any strikes or warnings, but after doing a little bit of research, this is like our 4th or 5th YouTube channel. We've had over 100,000 subscribers 4 times. And I think at this point, they don't have to warn us. It's like ban evasion. I think they realize who we are. They could probably look at where we're signing up from. And more than likely, if I had to guess, we just started another YouTube channel. More than likely, this one will be taken down eventually as well. We're just sort of playing the game and just play our hand, which is that YouTube likely doesn't really want the Legion of Skanks to be on their platform.
It sounds insanely backwards, but Joe List saying 40 minutes into a comedy special gets it demonetized, but actual cunts and guns and tits in music videos are a-okay with YouTube because to them, that's art.
You figured out early on, though, that the best way to not get pulled off of shit is to have your own network, though.
And what's funny is we were going for a few years, it would almost seem like pointless because Patreon got so big. Then with censorship, with YouTube and all these other platforms, now there's never been a better time for it. Yeah. Like we have an uncensored version of the show, an ad-free version of the show. We can say anything we want.
YouTube hunts us every time we get close to that plaque.
We've had our 4 YouTube channels taken down.
In the 90-something thousands of subscribers because they just start reviewing it then. They're like, no way.
Outside of providing a safety net for comics who are common targets of shadow banning or just legit banning as a result of simply doing their jobs. We've already seen the subscription model change comedy for the better in more direct ways too. The amount of self-produced stand-up specials, sketches, and short films being self-funded by comics is through the roof.
True to roof.
The fact that there's enough comedy fans out there willing to pay for content is awesome, and what these guys have done with those funds has been nothing short of tremendous.
Shane paid to have an entire set built as a replica.
Wow.
Again, that's something that, I've talked about this on different podcasts, but you never know who's not going to hear it for the first time. But Shane put all his money and with a loan against future stand-up income to make that first season.
Yeah.
And on against the advice of everybody.
Even on a smaller scale than the massive mainstream success of Tires, the thriving Are You Garbage Patreon has basically been the main factor behind their continued success and elevation of their show too, with the Army of Garbage's generosity directly launching Kippy and Foley into a larger, newer studio, their own personal tour van, and most importantly, extra hands on deck to elevate the entire AYG product from start to finish. Not to mention all the crazy bonus content we as fans get every time the Bozos hit a new benchmark, from Disneyland to the $10,000 roulette spin, and even sending the fellas to get hammered in Ireland.
It was a very fun, 12 days of running around Dublin and Ireland and drinking and having fun and just laughing with, some of my best pals. So it was a fantastic trip. Shout out to the homies and Bozos for making it happen.
Yeah, because that was a Patreon goal that was reached. We've seen other ones like the roulette spin, Disney World. What's the next big Patreon benchmark?
I don't know. We're trying to think of that now, and it's kind of one of those problems where the bigger they get, that means the next one's got to be fucking crazier, you know? So it's I don't know. And in 2 years, we might end up in Mars or something just for the bit. I don't know. We have a couple things that we're kicking around the idea. I've been pushing for African safari, but I don't know if that's, I think just us idiots, on a truck in an African safari would be too funny. So I don't know. That's the big one, but I don't know if I can sell that to the team.
From funding TV pilots to self-made stand-up specials, and of course the freedom to operate without a tech algorithm overlord weighing in on every decision they make, and the ability to speak freely as a comedian, pay-per-view websites has become one of the most important tools a comedian can use in 2025. And for all the reasons in this video is even something we've recently started to implement right here on Joke World. After focusing on what would actually provide worthy value for someone who subscribes to this channel, the main thing that came to mind is making a best of the week compilation that comes out every Friday, just like the best of the month compilations that we've been doing for the last 4 years. Except this is the top 10 moments from every week, just like the Sports Center top 10, but for comedy. Every Sunday, there's also a weekly bonus video that gets uploaded from our vault of unreleased interview footage featuring most of the comedians we mentioned today. And we have the emergency press conference series on Patreon, where I react live and unscripted to all the major breaking comedy news stories as they happen, from Shane Gillis hosting the ESPYs to the premiere of Bad Thoughts, and even sharing personal tales from the shows I attend here in Austin during the week. Basically, just like the video you're watching right now, except for it's all unedited, unscripted, hot gut takes. There's already over 400 posts over there, and actually a lot more than what I just mentioned. But I do want to leave some stuff still up for surprise. The current subscribers will know what I'm talking about. And in taking a page straight out of the Are You Garbage Patreon playbook,
once we reach our goal of 3,000 members, one lucky investor will be flown out for free right here to Austin, Texas to experience a full weekend of stand-up comedy in this major growing hub at clubs like the Creek and the Cave, the Comedy Mothership, the Sunset Strip, all of the classics, and if it's been your dream to sign up for Kill Tony one day, we can even do it on a Monday.
Aside from gaining the freedom from having to rely on the shaky and always changing rules of YouTube to stay afloat, the possibilities of what we could do here at Joke World with a thriving Patreon are literally endless. I've already moved across the country to better report on the comedy news, but there's still so much more to expand on here in Austin. From buying a news van to drive from club to club, conducting nightly interviews, to even creating a Barstool Sports-like office on 6th Street in the heart of the comedy scene, filled with more employees, editors, and hands-on deck to create more videos and cover more comedy news. The real long-term goal would also include starting our own Joke World Comedy Festival, as well as producing stand-up specials for the channel, which really doesn't seem too far-fetched, but it all starts with comedy fans who have an extra 50 cents laying around and are willing to invest it in independent comedy journalism, who believe in the larger vision of this channel and in the formation of a legitimate comedy news network. It's usually $5 a month, but anyone still watching this video can join the Joke World Patreon right now for 90% off. That's the highest percentage the website will let us give out, so type in the code King of Patreon right now and at least give us a shot. It'll literally only cost you 50 cents, and if you like this channel at all, you'll probably love what you see over there. The link is listed in the description below, or just type in patreon.com/jokeworld.
And the world is WRLD.
Thank you even for the consideration. I truly think we can do some amazing things together, and if you can't join right now for 50 cents, it's all good, and I want to let you know that the normal free videos on YouTube aren't going anywhere, although I do kind of think you're lying about not having 2 extra quarters.
You want to make your opus at one point, you know?
I just want to make retarded movies with Patreon money.
Guest spots from last week. The Joe Rogan Experience sat down with Bernie Sanders, Jim Norton, Corey Sanhagen, and Joe Piston. Two Bears, One Cave was Bert and Tom, Tom and Bert. Rudy Jules returned to Bad Friends with her sister. Matt Rife and Tony Caruso were on Kill Tony. Are You Garbage put Gerbies to the test. The Legion of Skanks welcomed Giannis Pappas. Adam Caton Holland sat on the couch with Soder. Jim Jeffries was on Tiger Belly. Steiny was on The Adam Friedland Show. Kumal Nanjiani was on We Might Be Drunk. Graham K. be Trippin'. Annie Letterman was on Right Now. Kurt Metzger joined the Duncan Trussell Family Hour. Ali Sadiq visited Stavi's World. Story Wars was a battle between Jim Norton, Brian Callen, and Tim Butterly. And Shane Gillis finally stood at the podium.
Yo, what the fuck is up, dude?
Hey.
What the hell? This is crazy.
What's going on?
Chilling, dude. Just chilling. Nothing.
What is all this?
It's just absolutely just.
What the fuck is this shit?
This is my stuff. It was my setup. This was the boat. While you were gone, I had to construct the ark. This is the ark. It's the ark, dude.
Shit.
Thomas Massey and Kevin Gates visited this past weekend with Theo Vaughn. Kurt Fox took a ride on the Harland Highway. Tom Segura experienced being in with Jordan. Amir K and Brent Morin took their shoes off with Rick Glassman. Rosebud Baker sat in the way back. Steph Tolev stopped by the Honeydew, then broke bread with Tom Papa, and was also on Whiskey Ginger. Next we have, and did stuff with Howie Mandel. You Know What Dude featured Yakov Smirnoff. Sagday DePod had a Mike Racine. Rob's Barber was a guest on Durag and the Deer Tag. The Tim Barley Show featured Kim Congdon, Ari Maddie, and Young Jamie. Nick Jonas was on No Bad Lies. Christina Mariani was on Jim Norton Can't Save You. Jeremiah Watkins rode on the Dynamite Rocket Ship. Giannis Pappas went on First Date. Patrick Scott Armstrong was on Burbs Bros. Jordan Jensen applied for co-host Wanted. And Chrissy Chaos, Camp Gagnon, Son of a Boy Dad, History Hyenas, The Church of What's Happening Now, Solid Show, Chubby Behemoth, YMH, Stuff Island, Flagrant, and Rough Week all did not have guests. As far as new stand-up comedy specials that are either out right now or coming out soon, there aren't too many new projects this week, but we do have Steph Tolev Filth Queen out on Netflix, Drew Lynch, the Stuttering Comedian on YouTube, Jeffrey Asmus put out 63 minutes of great comedy on his channel, and Mike Vecchione, Low Income White, is out right now on the Nateland YouTube channel. There's also a few projects set to come out next month, starting off on July 8th with Nate Jackson's Super Funny, which comes out on Netflix. On July 21st, Joe DeRosa, I Never Promised You a Rose Garden will debut on YouTube, and July 29th, Dusty Slay, Wet Heat will premiere on Netflix as well. Also, Jordan Jensen has officially filmed her next stand-up special, though there's no word on a release date yet.
Oh yeah, I did a special.
Yeah, at the Gramercy.
Yeah,
That's pretty
MVP
good, dude.
Stavros Halkias.
Why? How so?
Showed up floating out of the sky like a little cherub, emerged after my first show.
What?
And said, not really.
Oh, I thought you had him on a pulley or something.
Could you imagine? It felt like that. Because after the first show is scary, tight, way too aware of cameras.
Yeah.
And he showed up and he was like, emerged out of nowhere and went, first show's always weird. And I was like, really? Where did you come from? And he's like, yeah, everybody hates the first show. Second show, you'll crush. And I was like, thank God you're here. Because I just had all
You've heard that before, though.
I've heard people go, you get the first show and then you hang out the second show because the first show, you're like, I got it.
Yeah, but you don't always get the first show. You can't possibly always get it.
The first show was like
First show is tight sometimes.
tight.
Yeah.
Because they were not drunk and we were all just like fucked up by the crane. There was a heckler I had to flip out at.
What?
Yeah. And she, you know the cackle heckler?
Oh, I hate the cackle.
You hate the cackle.
And not technically stand-up specials, but Josh Johnson released his weekly stand-up set per usual, this time about the Jeff Bezos wedding debacle. There's also brand new episodes of Roast Battle, Stand Up on the Spot, and Dr. Phil Live out right now that all feature some impressive lineups. And last but certainly not least, Brett Forte films one of the most insane documentaries you'll ever see, created by himself and uploaded to his YouTube channel. The project details how the comedian went undercover with one of the most famous scammers in Canada, hiding in plain sight as a cameraman while capturing some batshit crazy footage. That's all the comedy news we have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching right here on Joke World. And like we mentioned earlier, dude, check out the Patreon after this. We've been devoting a lot of time and energy into making that place worthwhile, and more importantly, worth your $5. Or 50 cents if you sign up today by using code KING of Patreon. It's been over 4 years now of making comedy compilations and news videos on YouTube, and I'm extremely grateful to be able to operate on this level as is. But with your help, we can actually build a media brand to be a cornerstone in comedy, like what Comedy Central should have been, exactly like what ESPN is to sports. And the best part is it costs 50 cents, so you can literally leave right away if you think it sucks. But in all seriousness, I'm actually really thankful that you guys even watch these normal YouTube videos, especially those who have been subscribed since the early days. We'll have another comedy news video for you all as soon as possible, but in the meantime, you can enjoy some of the funniest moments from last month on the end screen right after this.
At Joke World. That's it, at Joke World.
And the world is WRLD.
That's a great YouTube channel, Joke World. Check it out.